Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be joined today by Justin Myers, who is the Director of Programs for Show Hope. Show Hope is a well-known organization to many people in the adoption and orphan care field. But for those of you who may not have familiarity, I'll let Justin start off and give us just the highlights of what Show Hope is all about.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to spend time with you today. Yeah, Show Hope was started 22 years ago in 2003 by Mary Beth and Stephen Curtis Chapman. It came out of their own adoption journey. They had adopted three girls from China, and their community around them started asking them questions about, we would love to adopt, but finances are a barrier. And if we only had help with finances, we'd be willing to bring children home. And so they used Stephen's platform and his influence really to bring about some momentum to start Show Hope. And so that started with adoption aid grants. But today, we really look at Show Hope's work as reducing barriers to adoption for churches and for families. And we categorize that in three ways. We talk about financial barriers, medical barriers, and knowledge barriers. And so that is how our programs and our resources are organized.
Well, thank you for that. And I think, in terms of our partnership, which we're so grateful for, the focus is on financial barriers. And I think historically, Show Hope was known for helping American couples adopt internationally. And then as we saw the international numbers decline, Show Hope made a pretty dramatic decision, in my view, and that is to consider supporting prospective adoptive parents in other countries to adopt children in their country. So, can you elaborate kind of on that shift? Because that's really been the heart of our partnership.
Sure. Well, adoption is not just a U.S. conception, thankfully. And so, over the past few years, especially in conversation with both ends believing, we really did want to make an intentional initiative that said, we recognize that adoption is becoming a part of the culture in many other nations. And we want to put a financial stake behind that says it's not just U.S. families that can step into adoption and provide permanent and loving families for these children.
And so we formalized that partnership in Uganda because that had been the country where we had worked the longest. And we have seen some progress that's been encouraging. Probably hasn't moved as fast as we'd all like, but can you elaborate on the progress as well as the obstacles?
Sure. Well, in our conversations back and forth, I really love, Frank, that as we were talking about Uganda and you were helping us to understand the context, the needs, you had shared kind of this 9-point framework of when a country and a society is ready for domestic adoption, because adoption is very complicated, right? And it requires a lot of parties to be aligned and resources to be aligned in order for children to find permanency in families. And so for us, we have very generous donors and we have resources available. And so our part to play was to say, if finances is a barrier for a family that is otherwise willing and able to bring a child into their family, that's an easy yes for us. So let's start small and let's see how we can impact families in that way. And let's just really celebrate with families when they're able to tell that child, we're now going to be your family, and you don't have to worry about going anywhere else.
And as a result, we have had, several very moving stories out of Uganda of either single women or couples who clearly would not have had the capacity to adopt, even though they had the heart to adopt.
Yeah, it's been beautiful. And especially the context in Uganda is we do see a lot of long-term foster placements. So years and years and years. And many of those families would be willing to adopt and to sign their name on a line that says, I want this child to be my son, or I want this child to be my daughter. And so to be able to step in that and just in a small way say, we're with you and we're cheering you on, is pretty incredible.
And I think to be able to assist in really making that adoption formal, which is a big part of what this effort is, I think that's huge because that child then knows they belong in that family forever. Um, Now, as we have continued to make some progress together in Uganda, we've also taken a look at other countries where we're beginning to see a culture of domestic adoption take root, specifically Ethiopia and Zambia. Can you comment on what you think the outlook for this partnership is in those countries?
Sure. Well, Uganda obviously has been a learning experience for us, and certainly we see some of the same opportunities and challenges in Ethiopia and Zambia. What I really love is that the team that both ends believing has in each one of those countries is really committed, and they're brilliant people. They're invested, and so that gives us a lot of confidence to step into those opportunities. Because really, at the end of the day, if a family is willing to bring a child into their home through adoption and they just need community support around them, then we want to be a part of helping make that happen, regardless of the country.
Well, and speaking of Ethiopia, I think you may have have a heart tie to that country. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. Well, apparently Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee, so of course I would love Ethiopia. Um, but other than coffee, my wife and I brought our children home from Ethiopia, a son and a daughter, just about 13 years ago, and they're both 14 now. They are teenagers through and through, so they're precious,
Yeah, yeah.
and we are facing the highs and lows of parenting just like anybody else, and just with grace, trying to walk through just the unique um, challenges and opportunities that come with adoption as well.
Well, and then when I see you break into a grin, I mean, I am reminded that again, people in Uganda, Ethiopia, Zambia, and other countries break into similar grins when they consider their children adopted or otherwise. And you know, to be able to partner with you all to help make that happen has really been a privilege for us. And we really just see the partnership, you know, going upward and onward, especially as the culture of adoption takes a deeper root in these countries. So thank you so much for taking the time to have this brief visit with me, and we'll continue to work together and look toward the future.
My pleasure. Thank you too, Frank.